The village of Umid lay quietly nestled between two great hills, its people known for their deep respect for tradition and the close-knit bonds that held their community together. In the center of this peaceful place lived Okonko, a man once humble and hard-working like everyone else in the village. Over the years, however, his fortunes grew beyond imagination. His trade flourished far and wide, bringing him wealth, vast lands, livestock, and influence. With this success came power, and with power came an unstoppable ambition. For Okonko, his wealth was no longer enough. He craved total control, not just over the economy of the village but over its very soul. He believed the way to achieve this was by marrying every woman in the village. It was an idea that started small, but as it took root, it consumed him entirely. Okonko thought that if he controlled the women, the men would have no choice but to follow him, solidifying his dominance. One morning, Okonko summoned the village elders to his grand palace, a massive mansion filled with riches from distant lands. The elders, simple men dedicated to upholding tradition, entered with unease. Okonko addressed them with a commanding yet smooth voice. "You have served this village well," he began, "but times are changing, and so must we. To bring unity, strength, and prosperity, I must marry every woman in Umid." The elders were stunned. The eldest among them, Ojugo, protested, "This is not our way, Okonko. You cannot marry all the women. They already have families." "Tradition must bend to progress," Okonko replied coldly. He assured them this was the only way to unite the village. The elders, fearful of his wrath and some already compromised by his bribes, reluctantly agreed. The next morning, a town crier announced the decree. All women in the village, regardless of age or marital status, were to be taken to Okonko's palace to become his wives. Chaos erupted. Women wept, children clung to their mothers, and men stood frozen in shock. Okonko's guards went door to door, forcibly taking the women from their homes. Among them was Adana, a young woman of remarkable beauty and intelligence, engaged to a farmer named Chick. Their dreams of a life together were shattered. Adana resisted fiercely, but like the others, she was taken to the palace. There, Okonko declared the women his wives in a cold, impersonal ceremony. Life in the palace became a nightmare. The women were treated as possessions, stripped of freedom and voice. Any disobedience was met with harsh punishment. Adana, however, refused to let her spirit be crushed. Secretly, she began gathering the women at night, whispering about rebellion. Her determination inspired them. "We cannot live like this," she told them. "We must fight back. Together, we can escape." One night, an older woman named Neka spoke of a shaman who might help. He lived on the outskirts of the village, beyond Okonko's reach. Adana and a few trusted women decided to risk sneaking out to find him. Under the cover of darkness, they reached the shaman's hut. The old man, named Awi, welcomed them as if he had been expecting their arrival. Adana explained their plight, and Awi revealed that Okonko's greed had angered the gods. "There is a ritual," he said, "that can strip him of his power, but it requires unity among all the women. If even one falters, the ritual will fail." He gave them a talisman made of twisted roots and stones, instructing them to perform the ritual under the full moon in a sacred clearing by the river. With the talisman in hand, the women returned to the palace, determined to succeed. As the full moon rose, strange omens appeared in the village. Crops withered, the river dried, and livestock weakened. The villagers whispered that the gods were angry, but Okonko dismissed it as nonsense. Meanwhile, the women prepared for the ritual. On the night of the full moon, they gathered in the clearing. Adana stood at the center, holding the glowing talisman. Joining hands, they began to chant the ancient words taught by Awi. As their voices rose, the air grew heavy and a powerful energy surged through them. In his palace, Okonko felt a strange weakness overtaking him. Struggling to his feet, he staggered out, drawn to the clearing. There, he saw the women in their circle, their faces glowing with power. He tried to stop them, but his strength failed him. Adana stepped forward, her voice steady and commanding. "It is over, Okonko. The gods have judged you." As he lunged at her, a blinding light from the talisman struck him down. When the light faded, Okonko lay motionless, his power broken. The women returned to the village as heroes. The elders admitted their failures and vowed to never let such tyranny rise again. Slowly, the village healed. The crops grew, the river flowed, and peace returned. Adana and Chick were finally reunited, their love stronger than ever. Their simple wedding brought joy to the entire village. The story of Okonkwo's rise and fall became a legend, a reminder of the dangers of unchecked greed and the strength of unity and courage. The village of Umid flourished, its people bound by justice, hope, and the lessons of their past.